You know the best person to run Twitch? It's some startup right now that's worth like $100 million or $50 million. You acquire that company and have that guy be the CEO because
Mm,
he's a startup founder and he's hungry and he's fast
mm,
and he's not going to put up with the bullshit and he knows how to ship products. That's
hmm
what you do.
It's
Slasher left.
he
What did
did.
what did
Well,
he what did
more
he what
so
was he
that
defending?
we just ran out of stuff to talk about, really.
Oh
Yeah.
my God. What was just I heard he was defending some dumb ass shit. And you were doing your best, but there's only so much one man can do.
I,
What was he saying?
I think that his side of the argument is just not an argument that I'm like really interested in fielding.
Oh,
Which is,
I didn't tell you what.
yeah,
Here, let me tell you. I could send you screenshots, but I assume you'll just believe me that this is true.
I
But
will
hold on,
believe
I'll tell
you.
you the.
Yeah, you don't have to send me screenshots. I don't need. But yeah, you can if, but I don't need it. Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Woo. Yeah, I heard about the. Yeah. Oh, baby.
The last one was yesterday. Oh wait, and there's I think there's one more. It was on the subreddit, and then I had them to remove it.
Good
But
lord.
I think, yeah, this is why I'm saying I think like just the big one right there is those first two.
Yeah.
That's like a huge amount. Like that's one of the big things that ads are constantly used for there. So, by the way, you know how I know that?
Hmm.
Because the person in charge of that told me that
Yeah.
personally. They
Hmm.
reached out to me, not the other way around.
Hmm.
But you can probably say, like, you could say, oh, Twitch has probably lost more than half of its ad budget, probably close to 70% at this point. They have, and it's not going to come back until Dan Clancy steps down.
Maybe not even
If
then, right?
maybe not even then, because
Hmm.
Twitch doesn't. It's just such a brand. It's it's so unsafe for ads, and it's completely Dan Clancy's fault, literally.
Hmm.
Like he did. Why would he invest in the shit he did? Like every single person, I think, inside of Twitch and outside of Twitch said, "Why are you spending all this resources on this join at like the knock to join thing that no one's used
Yeah.
ever?" Right?
Hmm.
Think about all that resources that could have been going into having ad targeting on correct channels or all this other. It's crazy to me.
Word, dude. I'm so on board with you. Yeah.
I think the thing we don't agree on, like I retweeted your thing and you said that you think that they should get rid of politics. The problem is I don't think
Mm.
it's sustainable because you're still going to have people like Steve that would play StarCraft and talk about shit while he's doing it. I think the solution just has to be a actual unbiased trust and safety team that has real rules. Like it works on YouTube somehow. Why does it work on YouTube? Because they're actually unbiased. Like which
because
is
they're machines.
yeah. Yeah, and they're well that too, right? They
But
built
that's
out the
why.
tech. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I guess like this is the thing. Like I want to like bounce off you, right? Like I feel like it's actually impossible for Twitch to have impartial moderation. Like actually, unless they build a CDN. Like if
well,
they,
here's
but
the
they've
thing.
had 10 years to do that. Yeah. Mm.
I don't know if it's impossible to do it. I think it's possible to get close because there's ways that you can do it. So first of all, we can both agree that right now it is the opposite of impartial. You would agree with
100%.
that? The problem is, I think that if you make it equal, actually, right? That first off, that's good. It's good for the platform, but you can still do stuff that if it's not perfect, right? Here's the whole thing. I think it's okay, believe it or not, if you get banned by mistake. Okay, like if they ban you because you said something that was a little bit unhinged, and you get banned for that, and you put in an appeal. I think a good idea is that like maybe you can pay money if you think you're actually wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you can pay money and maybe you get so many free per year. You get like one free appeal per year or something based on your viewership count or something. But you put an appeal, and guess what? You can actually have a roundtable with the Twitch trust and safety people
Mm-hmm.
or some delegation and some streamers that volunteer for it and maybe get paid to do it. And then you're actually represented by your peers and by Twitch. Now you're saying, Dan, what other company does this? None of them. But Twitch seems unique in not being able to know how to handle this problem. I don't understand why it's only a problem for Twitch and not for YouTube. YouTube just must be the fucking shit, honestly, at the
It
end of the
is.
day.
Well, can we talk about that? Because a lot of
I don't know how I don't know how YouTube does it.
they have data. So what's happened is over the course of literally since 2017, right? Every video has been thrown into training data to inform a system that says this is okay for advertising and this isn't, that has been rated by the advertisers over that same amount of time. So those advertisers have basically built not an automated system that then can dictate with near perfection what isn't okay. But the problem is that took them an adpocalypse, millions of dollars, tons of time, like literally 7 years to perfect, right? And Twitch should have started on this a decade ago, and they don't have a single thing going towards that system. And I think I agree with you too, where Twitch is a rather unique example. So
you know, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Can I ask you, what is so rotten inside of Twitch's culture that the employees haven't made a statement? Let me forget that part. How incompetent is the CEO that they're not making a statement as every day they're bleeding more advertisers? Maybe they would be like, okay, I got to step down before I destroy this company.
Yeah, it's a great question.
What is going on? Why?
I don't know. I wish I knew that. That's a really good question.
Like, I feel like if I was Dan Clancy's boss, I'd be like, okay, let's see. First thing everyone always does. Let's wait this out. It might just blow over in a day or two, right?
Yeah.
But now you're seeing it's not blowing over in a day or two. Now it's only getting worse every day after every day. At what point do you say, you got to go, bro? You're fucking going to destroy this company. I'm so shocked. But I'm actually, so there's that part that I'm shocked about, the incompetence. But I'm saddened by the lack of an internal letter from people at Twitch saying that they don't approve and that Dan Clancy should step down. That's disappointing. That's fucking sad. Is what it is.
Do you think that the people at Twitch understand the gravity of the situation yet? I don't think they do. Like the employees.
No,
I think this is being kept very close to the chest at a very high level right now.
That's probably fair.
Yeah.
I would hope. Well, actually, I don't know. It's been all over live stream fails, and I feel like a lot of Twitch employees probably browse like that for fun.
They might just think it's another drama, like
their jobs are literally on the line, and they're saying nothing. That's what's crazy about it.
But they probably don't understand the damage that has been done at an actual, like, this is the first time that something like this has gone by. Like, to the outsider, it looks like just a normal drama thing. Like, oh, it's like about Hassan versus Destiny or something. Like, it'll probably blow over.
Exactly.
But like internally, people don't understand, and probably staff doesn't understand that, like, this is the first time that real damage has been done via advertisers, and like that this is like as you say, an existential threat to the platform. The closest equivalent, and that's why I made that equivalence in my tweet, was the adpocalypse in 2017 was pretty equivalent to this, but that was like an existential threat for YouTube. Truly, the argument was that like hateful content was showing up against, like, basically the result was if you have extremist content on any side, it's showing up next to an ad for like Mazda. And like that's just not okay, right? That was the same. It was a different way we got there, but we had the same problem. And YouTube was like all hands on deck. And I think like people don't remember it because it was it was so long ago. But like there was a real question mark if like YouTube was going to make it through. Like anybody at Google at that time would tell you that like it was like I don't know, and I don't think that like so the thing is Google as a business saw YouTube as a platform that it could have a future on. And so they looked at YouTube and they said, look, like we're willing to put in the millions, maybe billions of dollars of investment because we think this is where video is going to live. And we think that it is going to be the future of content. And that was a good bet. But Amazon doesn't have that same faith in Twitch, right? Like Twitch has already demonstrated that live streaming is kind of a niche thing, that it's like very specific demographic. It's like power users with like long, like average view durations. There's no argument to be said that like the future of live streaming, like the future of live streaming is TikTok. That's already been established. So I don't think Amazon is going to back Twitch in the same way where they're like, oh yeah, like cool, like we'll put you.
Can I ask you?
Yeah,
this is a tough question, and do you what's more likely to happen first? Dan Clancy to get fired, or for them to just say that we're divesting of Twitch and they're selling it? Like, because I'm thinking, like to fire a CEO, you got to bring someone else in, and if they're like, we just want to get rid of this fucking thing, because it's run at a loss for years, and I think it's losing more and more money every year. And actually, I think, believe it or not, I think the worst thing to happen to Twitch is actually all the Spanish streamers coming in there, because it's insanely expensive, and the ads down there do not cover the cost of supporting all of that.
Yeah, it's all tier 2.
Yeah, exactly, right? So like normally people think, oh man, I can't wait to have 500,000 people from Brazil that I have to support with like 1 million servers, but it's like there's like 4 advertisers that know about it and will do it. There's just I still think that Dan Clancy will get fired before the site shuts down. I hope.
I wonder if the calculus is, okay, Dan steps down, and then we bring in like an Amazon level VP who's like willing to make significant cut costs and then push the website further towards like monetization and further towards like I think that's the most likely outcome. Yeah.
You have to get rid of Twitch Prime, obviously.
Yep. You have to. It's brilliant. You have to.
Twitch Prime's got to go, and then they have to. I'll tell you what I would do if I was the new CEO of Twitch. I have a plan for Twitch right now. Okay, if they're looking for a CEO, I will put Redact on the side for a little bit, and I will come in. Tell me about what you think about. You ready to think about my plan? Okay.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay. Step one, obviously there's going to be equal enforcement of the law across the board, right? Yeah. We're not getting rid of politics or free speech or anything, or sorry, getting rid of just chatting or any of that. Okay, that all stays, but there's actual rules. Doesn't matter if you're the biggest person on the site or the shittest one. If you have a nip slip, it doesn't matter if you're someone with 10 streamers or 10 viewers or 100,000. Same punishment. So that said, I have a strategy. So Twitch Prime's got to go, but we are going to empower you and the users to make more money. How fucking stupid is Twitch that they tried to charge such an insane tax on bits? How stupid.
Yeah.
Do people not think that, like, hey, Streamlabs is a whole thing. Maybe you should think about integrating the donate button in a way where people get a much larger cut to the point where people don't want to use Streamlabs, where they want to use your system because it's much better converting, because they don't have to go to PayPal and do it. They don't do that. So the first step is to bring in more monetization option directly for the streamer itself. Make the streamer feel like they own their page. So the twitch.tv/DevinNash shouldn't just be a video and a chat. You should really be able to customize this across the board and make it feel like it's your home. You should be able to put your YouTube videos there. You should be able to send emails to your greatest subscribers. It should be a pseudo Patreon page, if you will, for your greatest people. Your home on the internet right there. And the amount of money that they would make from fucking doing that would be unbelievable.
Yes.
Doing just that system right there. But instead, they focus on the most cringe bullshit, on chasing ad dollars, which is never going to get there. Like, Patreon shouldn't exist. Patreon should be something that Twitch has built into its system.
Yes, 100. So well. I completely agree with you. Yeah, and the fact that Patreon takes 8% and Twitch takes 50%, it's like why would it ever?
Insulting.
Yes,
it's insulting. Yeah. It's like, hey, Jake, yo, what's up, Dan? Hey, man, so we got this new Twitch Bits product. How much you think we should? How much should we charge? How we tax them? Oh, I don't know. What do you think? Like 50? Like half? That seems fair, right? It's like, okay, like, so yeah, you can get this, but it's like, how much does this hinder your growth?
Yeah.
Like, just be smart. Make people want to go to Twitch because it's like the best platform. It lets you do everything there. Like, think about this. I do a live stream on YouTube, right? Obviously, Destiny is banned, so there's a part of this that doesn't really fit in here, but let's say that he wasn't banned on Twitch and he was banning let's say he wasn't banned on Twitch and we were streaming on Twitch. We would still be using Patreon.
Yeah,
why? Why? Explain that to me right there. Why am I using Patreon when all I do is video content?
Why are we using Reddit to upvote clips? Why don't we have twitch.tv/clips? Everybody bitches about live stream fail. Like, if we just had twitch.tv/clips that literally was the exact same system as Reddit was, and you could click an up arrow and then the clip gets served to you. Holy fuck, it's been 10 years. Like, why are we relying on Reddit for our marketing as a website? Yeah, it's so many things like this.
See, now that you're saying this, you're making me feel bad. Like, maybe Dan Clancy is a fucking retard. Because these things are so obvious. They're so fucking obvious, and he doesn't do them. Like,
this is a guy
I don't know.
Who came up. This is a guy, okay, that came up on TwitchCon. He showed up, okay, and he comes up on the platform and he says, "We haven't updated our mobile app in 7 years." And I was like, I was here on stream. I was like listening to the thing, like just going through the TwitchCon, and it's like, "We haven't updated the app in 7 years," and I like had to pause it. I was like, "What? like, what do you mean? That's like 45% of your users. You haven't updated your app in 7 years? Like, what is this?" So that's why, like, just the sheer level of incompetence that happens at Twitch is it's almost staggering. To the point of, like, I don't blame you for that thought process. Like,
it's like conspiracy level. Like,
it is. It's like you'd have to be.
Level.
Yeah.
You have to think that they're so stupid and incompetent to have it not be anti-Semitic. That's what it is. That's actually the perfect way. There are only two options. Twitch is fundamentally ran by some of the dumbest motherfuckers of all time, from the top to the bottom every step of the way, okay? Because that code I saw posted online, that wasn't that amazing either. They are the dumbest marketers, the dumbest advertisers, the dumbest trust and safety team, the dumbest analytics team, the dumbest executive team, the dumbest support team, the dumbest engineers.
Can I ask you a question? Like, what do you say? And I just like genuinely want to hear your opinion and your take. Like, what do you say that Dan hasn't had, like Clancy hasn't had enough time as CEO to make these?
He's had enough time. Here's how I know they've had enough time. If you put me in there, if you put yourself in there, okay, here's how it's going to go. Day one, okay, you have changes. You have certain things you can't change right away because of contracts. Fine. But the rest of it, it's like, okay, this, you spend the first 2 weeks deciding what are we building, where are we going. So we've talked a little bit about that so far. We're building a Patreon. We're going to make Twitch for our creators. This is going to be their destiny.gg. They're going to own their users. They're going to have the ability to email them. They're going to have the ability to have like a Patreon experience on site. We're going to do more discoverability features. You don't have to go to Reddit to find the funniest clips across all of Twitch. All of that stuff we're going to build. Okay, great. What do we not want to focus on moving forward? Well, I think ads are a distraction. So let's get rid of most of the ad team and just keep the core relationships that make up like 70% of our revenue. And let's not worry about the other 30%. Let's just drop those people. It's too much of a distraction. We'll have some ads. We have Amazon backing us. That's fine. We'll do that. But in general, that's not our strategy moving forward. We would like to go to a completely ad-free experience if we could, ideally. Then you start making the changes. You get rid of the people that do not fit into the vision of that moving forward. So that probably means getting a brand new trust and safety team because they've lost all trust. That probably means investing in better technology for AI so that you don't have to have 1,000 people in Egypt clicking deny on every clip coming in. That probably means hiring like a pretty good, competent team to run your tech stack instead of people that have been there for 20 years and are just skating by, whatever. So it's a bunch of changes. But I tell you, if you had all those things in place, like you can build with money, you can build a website and these features. It doesn't take years. Act like a fucking startup. Everything that we've talked about in this call, you could get done in 6 months or less.
You're right. An exacting CEO would, like someone like Shopify or Satya or someone who would come in, like would fix this in like 6 months, no problem. Yeah, they just like,
and they would have that shit rolled out in 6 months, not just fixed it.
Yep,
they would have rolled it out in 6 months.
Because they completely replaced the engineering teams. They buff everybody up. They literally do like an Elon style thing where it's like they send an email out to like, tell me what work you got done this week, and if you can't respond, like you're out. Like it'd be that kind of shit. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Yep. I mean, so it basically fundamentally Twitch's entire culture is broken. It's extremely woke to the detriment where they have all this stuff. It's like almost like a union shop right now. Like literally you need to cut all of that shit out. Like I bet there's like it sounds like there's a lot of bureaucracy there as well. Like I would get rid of most of that. Yeah. All of that bureaucracy needs to go.
Like 6 PMs for one product, that kind of thing, you know. That's kind of shit. Yeah. You've seen plenty of tech companies like this. Yeah.
I mean, you know what? I hate Elon Musk, but that motherfucker fired 90% of the people, and guess what? Twitter's still fucking running.
It's fine. Yeah, they're not even a day of downtime, right? Like,
well, I mean, it's had some bad days, but like, it's been fine.
But game is game. Yeah.
You know what I mean? He knew that there was fluff. There was just overage. It was just a waste. It wasn't needed. Granted, Twitter is not great right now, especially on the trust and safety department side of things. But that said, he got rid of like all the engineers.
Yeah.
He got rid of everyone. He said, we're going to build some fucking shit. And you know what? That motherfucker was pushing out features every day. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, guess what? We're selling Twitter Blue now. Hey, guess what? We're doing video calling now. Like with old Twitter, right?
Yeah, like there's all kinds of stuff that's new. Yeah.
I mean, granted, it's stupid things, right? I'm not saying that they're good at what they do, but they are pushing out features and they're doing shit.
Yeah.
Right? Twitter Spaces.
Creator monetization.
Thing.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, granted, there's not a lot of money in making money as a creator on there, but still they are doing it. And under the old Twitter, I shit you not, that was the same website from 2009 until 2022.
Literally. Yeah.
No changes ever. The whole time. Not one fucking thing.
Yeah. Exact same website, exact same moderation, exact same like everything. Yeah.
Like it's kind of like Reddit. I mean, I put Reddit in the same boat as that. But I guess to Reddit, that's a little bit of a benefit because they've changed almost nothing. That's what caused it to be so successful, kind of like Craigslist, but it didn't work like that. Like people point to Craigslist and they're like, listen, this is good. This is why you shouldn't like go and do a fancy new design or have a mobile app or any of this other stuff. And I look at them and I say, I understand that your site is easy to use. It doesn't have any bullshit, but you are a bunch of morons that did not have a mobile app until, I mean, I've been saying this for a while, so I don't know, but like maybe like 2019 or something. They didn't have an iOS app, right? It's like, what the This is not like, ooh, we're some cutesy little startup that we're only available on web. You're just a moron. Let's go and offer up exist because you are stupid. That's it. Those are billion-dollar companies that have basically come in and molested your business because you're too stupid to have made like a decent mobile app. That's what happened. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a situation where, like, did Craigslist survive because it was like, oh, the cutesy app that everybody's used to, or did it survive because there was no significant competitors? They just, like, they got lucky with the space they were in. Like, they didn't need to make that much revenue to run the website as it is because it's literally an image posting board, like that kind of stuff, right? Like, yeah. And like, I'd argue that, like, Craigslist got cannibalized a huge amount by Facebook Marketplace and, like, the stuff that it made, like, in terms of its production. So, like, there's always a cost to not innovating. Always.
Yeah. I mean, certainly, there's always a cost to innovating, but I mean,
to not innovating. To not innovate. Yeah, to your point. Your point about Craigslist.
I mean, to both things, but yeah, but I think historically, companies that stand still always end up losing eventually. Always. Now, they can last a while and be kingmakers, like Intel, but eventually, if you stand still, someone comes in and fucks your shit up. That's it.
Exactly.
You have to always be innovating, even if that means keeping your core product the same. Like, an example of this is like, you know how bad Twitch engineering is right now? Twitch is a company. It's getting to the point for me where I would never, ever hire anyone that was ever in the marketing, advertising, or management team of Skype, ever. I would never, not a single person. I don't care. If I find out that you worked for Skype, I will not hire you, ever.
That makes sense to me, yeah.
Right? Because this is a company that was a verb, Devin. It was a verb for our time. We all used it.
Yeah.
You would say, hey, Skype me later, right? And it wasn't cringe. That's literally what everyone used. It was the Discord app. And they threw it all away because some PMs thought it would be cool to try and make a really shitty Slack version of Skype. And it killed the product.
Agree.
Completely.
Yeah.
That
Completely
is
agree.
how bad it feels like Twitch is right now. To a point where if you ever hire anyone who worked in the management of Twitch during this period, you deserve every fucking bad thing that happens to your company. Like, it's so bad, I would just rather say that I was unemployed for 4 years than say that I worked at Twitch. That's how bad it is.
You're still going, right? Even after everything that's happened, right? Like, you're still committed the same way, right?
I'm not stopping until Dan Clancy is fired or resigns.
Would you so if a new CEO steps in,
I will absolutely stand down completely because I already know what it means. It's like they don't even have to say anything to me. If they're like, hey, a new CEO is coming in, I'm done. And the reason is so obvious. It's because when a new CEO comes in, he's like, hey, you fucking what the did you guys do with the place? Like, he's not going to be like, all right, the old guy's out, same as the old, let's keep going, let's get in the shop. He's going to be like, what the fuck happened? What did you guys do? You guys need to get the fuck out of here. You need to get the fuck out of here. You need to get the fuck out of here.
I guess what I'm worried about is that Dan Clancy was that new CEO of Emma, and that didn't happen. So what I worry is like,
well, he was
right. So like, what if we get a new CEO, but it's the same kind of story?
Wasn't he an engineer? Never make an engineer a CEO.
Yeah, Clancy was on the tech side of the product, and then before that, he worked for like. He had a weird history. I remember looking at it. It's on Wikipedia. We can look.
It's like NASA and next.
Yeah, it's like some weird shit. Like
don't. This is my big piece of advice. So you're a startup CDO. I'm a startup CEO.
Yeah.
My biggest piece of advice that I always give to people. Maybe I should make a video on this if I haven't already.
You should. Yeah.
The big thing. It's very simple. Okay. Your napkin determines the programmers, not the other way around. Imagine the perfect product in your mind, okay? Write it out on a napkin, how it looks, the buttons, what they do, the experience you have. Imagine the perfect experience of a website that does whatever it is that you're trying to do. Put that on paper and then say, hey, engineers, go build this.
Yes.
You always start that way. You never start with a way to say, hey, listen, we have some crazy tech. What should we build? When you do that, you get Dan Clancy. You put an engineer in charge, you get the worst fucking product. Always.
It seems like Dan Clancy worked for like NASA and Nextdoor and like a bunch of like weird like stuff. So you know
what Dan Clancy should do? Dan Clancy should be like, if you've seen Silicon Valley, he should be that really weird dude who's like inside the data center. He can be that guy. He can be in charge of like the Twitch data center.
Oh, like a CTO Seattle. Type or something?
No, not a CTO. He can be the weird guy inside of a data center.
Oh, like an IT PM.
Yeah, he's like managing 10 people inside of like Virginia data center 2, and that's his job. That's what he can do.
You know what's
Okay?
another really weird thing that no one's ever talked about with the Twitch situation? It
What?
wasn't just Emmett at the time. I'm reading the Wikipedia and I just realized something. It wasn't really Emmett at the time that was like super calling the shots on Twitch. He had a whole C-level suite of like Mike Aragon, who was like the chief content officer. I had a weekly call with that dude, and like he was in charge of like what the content was and the enforcement policy. And then there was Sarah Clemens, right, who I didn't know, but she was she was very significant. She was C something. What is it with like we don't have any C-level executives at Twitch that I know of that are actually like, normally like if you're running a company at this size, you've got a COO, you've got a CTO, you've got a CFO. Like, are those people,
Yeah. I had to look up who the CTO was. I didn't even know.
do those people even exist? Like, do they have a C-level team right now? Do they have a C-suite at Twitch at all?
Yeah, there's a CTO there. Yeah.
Okay. What are they doing?
I don't know.
Is there a chief content officer like there was like for Aragorn? Like,
Um, listen, I have no idea.
yeah, I don't know either. Like, this is stuff we should know. I hope that if Dan steps down, it fixes it. I don't know
It will.
if
It will.
you think so. Yeah.
I mean, because I think, well, there's this thing. I've only seen it once, but I think it's probably a thing that when a CEO leaves a company, there's flight that goes. The people that are ideologically aligned with that CEO will go with them, right? It's not like the CEO is not going to be fired, and then like you're going to have the woke staff that's still going to be there, right? It doesn't. It's not going to work that way, right? So, they're going to go naturally out the door with them. Like if Dan Clancy is fired, it's not like the trust and safety team is showing up tomorrow and be like, all right, so what are we doing, boss?
Yeah,
they're probably like, ooh, yeah, that's not. I think I'm gonna start looking for another job. Okay.
The problem is that like under Emmett, a large amount of that TNS team did transfer over to Clancy. That's like my issue. But I think you're absolutely right. The situation is different now. We would probably get a pipe hitting Amazon executive that's like, all right, boys, like. The game plan has changed. You know? Yeah, it's different.
It does. I don't think it needs a businessman. Like, I don't think you want like a button-up suit in that guy. No, I think you need someone like a startup guy. You know, the best person to run Twitch? I already have the answer to it. You know who the best person to run Twitch is? It's some startup right now that's worth like $100 million or $50 million. You acquire that company and have that guy be the CEO because he's a startup founder and he's hungry and he's fast and he's not going to put up with the bullshit and he knows how to ship products. That's what you do. I don't know if I would bring in like a seasoned guy who's like all they know is like, direct reports and I run Amazon Music and 300 people. I think what you do is like, I don't know. I don't even know a good example of a company they would acquire, but you acquire something. Or you find someone that's in that type of position and you have that person come in there.
So you think you need like a full blown like startup mentality, like super cut costs.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's probably right. Yeah.
You need to come in there and like start over and be like, okay, we got to keep this thing on life support, but we're building something new. That's it. Right? It's like you almost make twitch.tv become old.twitch.tv and you start right away working on new.twitch.tv, and old.twitch.tv is what it is and it keeps working and it's kind of a show, but eventually new.twitch.tv will be the new experience and then old will go away.
You actually could do it, right? Like you could literally do just that where you actually just do an old.twitch.tv and say we're changing the whole thing.
I think probably so many of the problems with this company have to just do with the fact that there's so many people who have been there for 1,000 years and they're cancer. And like when someone new comes there and is like, hey, why don't we do a Patreon thing on our site? And then some stupid PM or some stupid developer is like, oh no, we can't do that.
What that ends up happening so often is like these good ideas, they just become discussions like that just get lost because like that was like so many things like the Twitch Safety Council and all that stuff, right? Like there's supposed to be this new oversight community that can like do what you were originally saying, which is like, oh yeah, like we can like actually introduce this to streamers and we can have people like have this like impartial group of people that are like you. Doesn't work out because there's 7 PMs that need to insert all of their ideas and do everything, right? Like it's so frustrating.
I do fault these engineers for not creating a letter telling the CEO to step down and saying that we should have radical change. I definitely fault them because they should know what the fuck's going on. But every fucking executive, I guess like in program or not programmer, but like leadership terms, I would say everyone that's at L6 or above is fair game. Absolutely. 100% if you're L6 or above. And to be clear, that's like, so L9 is a CEO.
Yeah.
L8 is a CTO, COO, CMO. L7 is like a dude in charge of 6 people. And then L6 is like the various leaders of trust and safety. So L6 and above is fair game.
Do
A
you think
hundred percent.
they know what's going on with the advertisers right now? That like
They all
the
do.
L5 and the L6 know
You
that
want to know how I know they all know?
yeah.
More than half of them have deleted or privated their LinkedIn. Cowards.
Oh, really? I see. That's actually pretty crazy. Okay. Yeah.
They're brainwashing our kids. Like unironically, because people watch Twitch, and this is what my fucking kids are seeing, and that's what fucking makes me
But
mad.
what I'm saying is like my position is that let's say that this was a total right wing website, okay, and like it was I don't know right wing influences, but just list all
Like
the
Twitter.
right wing influences that run it.
Oh, Twitter.
Like my position would still be exactly the same. That whether it be right or left or whatever, like just get rid of all of it and like let's play video games. like that's where I'm at.
I
like,
know. I still think it could. I still think it could be saved.
Do you see a universe where this platform continues to go forward with, and let's say that there is fair enforcement of political content across the entire platform? You see a world where that can exist, and like that's okay.
Where what can exist?
Just like the universe where Destiny, Hassan, this guy Nick, you're saying all those other guys, they exist on the website. Is that your ideal world? Like, or like,
do I want like a free speech thing? No,
Yeah.
I think there should be guardrails, and I think that.
what do you think? This is interesting. We've never gone here. So what do you think those guardrails should be?
Like YouTube?
Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I totally agree. I guess this is cool. So now we're kind of like the heart of the issue because it's like I completely agree with you. I guess the only place we differ is I don't think that can be done by humans. I think that the YouTube CDN is so advanced that the only way for that to actually happen.
But there's still rules, by the way, and there's still people that will look at stuff if you bitch and moan enough at the end of the day on YouTube. So YouTube
Yes, there
knows
is.
if you're like doing a study group talking about the history of like the Middle East, and you're reading out like different conflict things, and you're reading a terrorist quote followed by like a quote from Israel. Like they know that, and they're not going to just instantly ban. They're not going to be like, "Yep, there's a terrorist stream, ban them." Like they're not that stupid enough. There's people that will look at it and get context. And it feels like on Twitch, like I watched an obvious TOS violation and I reported it. I've done this multiple times. First off, I've never gotten a response. I'm going on 3 days now of no response on my report. I don't know if I'll ever get one. Maybe I'll just never get a response. Twitch has taken no action, right? I saw a TOS violation, clear as day, reported it, and nothing has happened to that person. I mean, it's broken.
So let me give you this argument, okay? Like tell me what you think of this, right? Slasher and I were kind of having a discussion because Slasher said that you can't afford to get rid of like all of the politics streamers on Twitch and then like run the website. And I kind of took issue with that. I showed him the stats and I said like,
Why?
well, it's like it ends up
ads,
being
ads aren't even that much of a money.
Yeah, it ends
on
up being
Twitch.
it ends up being pretty negligible. So
like everyone thinks they're so important. You know, like the joke is like when you talk about viewership, it's like all these American streamers are like, oh, we're such a fucking big deal, and then like people are like, bro, who the fuck are you? This one random Hispanic guy you've never heard of has more followers than every single person in your entire state.
Yeah, exactly. So the question then becomes like, okay, we could build a CDN, we could get a partial moderation team, we could like maybe like get this to work, and like we could finagle this and like we could make it like YouTube and like could build the systems, or it seems like we can ban the 4% of total people that are creating like this extreme political content all across the board, right and left, and then we'd be done. Doesn't that seem like an easier answer?
Yeah, I mean,
and that's where I'm at.
But you want to put some money on how long you think Clancy will last?
I mean, because I'm gonna lose. You're too scary, dude.
I have no idea either how long he'll last, because he could, for instance, Twitch could announce tomorrow that they're looking to divest of the company and Dan Clancy will remain as CEO until that happens, and that could be like a year, right? I have no idea. They could do that. The question is, how do you think it'll be, over or under 3 months? And I think it's under.
I think it's under too.
Yeah,
I would not take a bet against you. I think people had taken a bet. Didn't XQC take a bet against you?
Yeah, and he did 6 months.
He's a madman. What was the bet?
Listen, I would go, oh my god. You know what the bet was? I get a 1984 Nissan 300ZX Anniversary Edition in manual, 5-speed. And if I lose, you're not gonna. This guy, he doesn't even know who he's talking to. Do you know what I have to do if I lose?
Okay, what do you have to do?
I have to wear a cat suit.
You already wear cat suits all the time.
He doesn't know. He doesn't know.
So
he thought he was like getting me or something.
Oh no!
I couldn't believe it. I was like, bro, I'll do that for free. Are you kidding me?
God!
Like, oh man! Poor XQC.
No! He buys you a new car.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, granted, this is like a $10,000 or $20,000 car. It's not like a Ferrari or anything like that. But I don't know. It's funny.
Oh no!
I don't know. I'm super disappointed in Dan Clancy. I think must be a selfish person, because anyone else would have fallen on their sword right now to protect their employees. It actually makes me fucking a little bit mad. I would do a lot for my employees. Like if they started getting harassed, I'd get really pissed.
Yeah, me too.
I would go fucking beast mode, right?
Yeah.
And he's like a fucking pussy that does nothing to protect them, does nothing to anything. Fall on your fucking sword, you dumb piece of shit.
I mean,
like, you're shit at your job, obviously. You're incompetent. Like, he had meetings today all day with advertisers. All day.
Definitely.
That's what he did.
Yeah.
And every single one of them was like, hey, we're pausing our ads. We're not going to keep going. Maybe some of them were like, never again. Some of them were like, until you give us an amazing plan. That's what he was doing all day today. And this dumb motherfucker thinks he can salvage it.
He probably
Clancy,
thinks he can. Yeah.
I can't wait, Dan. I hope you find my IP address, because then I can just use my cell phone. You're going to need to geo-block all of Florida, because every day I'm going to wake up and I'm going to look for ads. And when I see ads, I'm making a video, and I'm going to make sure it's by the most vile, reprehensible shit you've ever seen in your life. You are you will not beat me, okay? There is no chance. Just resign before it gets any worse. All right, I'm going to go. Have a good rest of your stream. All right?
Okay. I'm glad we had a follow-up talk. This is good. You got to say, Dan is dedicated. like that guy is locked in, man. I would not want him as an enemy. I think it's like pretty clear where I stand. Trust and safety needs a complete overhaul. The CEO at a minimum needs to step down. There needs to be a serious evaluation by Amazon and Twitch on the situation. And I think we're pretty close to agreeing, both of us. Where I differ is like, I'm just coming at this from like sort of the business perspective. And then he does see a world where like advertising and political content and that sort of thing is possible. He does see that world. I just think that like it's been a decade of time where the moderation team has already like demonstrated that they can't handle this. And so I don't know if we're likely to see a reform but like Dan's point is pretty good that like if we saw like an exacting CEO, like a really badass exacting CEO, I don't know where my drawing went. I think a lot of things would change. Do you really think that Clancy made the company worse, or do you not remember 2 years ago? I think it's worse in ways that matter a lot more to the existential threat of the platform. In terms of like the content delivery and in terms of like the actual content of the website, the technology on the website, it's there are some things that are the same or better, but as far as the actual like situation at Twitch, yeah, significantly worse. Yeah, but like feature-wise, like sure. Yeah, so I apologize to everybody because like I'm kind of trying to keep out of the like political sphere a little bit. I'm trying, I hope you guys understand that I'm trying to cover the issue that's happening with Twitch, and I'm trying to give you guys like a fair take on it without getting too deep into like the is or isn't it, the left or right type of stuff. It's been a challenge. So for people that come to this stream to not watch that stuff, I'm with you, and we will not be like platforming that stuff or like be doing like heavy political content. It's just a really difficult line to walk right now. I'm really trying to like focus on the business perspective, and there's a lot of like kind of heated emotion, and like depending on like I respect Dan's opinion on it. Like Dan is completely entitled to have that view and to showcase it. And obviously if he didn't have something to it, the ADL wouldn't be going in as hard as they are. So like there's a lot to be said. I'm just trying to keep it neutral and like from a business perspective as much as I can.